Hello my DC fans, thank you so much for clicking on this video. My name is Chris. Black Adam has finally released in theaters. The 15-year-long development and wait for this movie is here, so you know what we gotta do. We're gonna be talking full spoilers for Black Adam. I'm gonna be diving into some of my favorite moments of the movie, what I thought didn't work all that well, a little couple of Easter eggs, things you might have missed, and of course, talking about that big post-credit scene. But I'm also need to hear from you DC fans down below. If you went out to go check out Black Adam this weekend, what did you think about the movie? Did you find it to be a good, dumb, fun time? Or were you like, no, this was just too dumb and I had no fun? Whatever the case may be, let me know down below and what your speculation and theories could be for the future of the DCEU. Alright, but now just diving straight into Black Adam, to reiterate my thoughts on the movie is I had fun with it. I'm fully aware it's a messy movie. It's got a couple of hiccups here and there, feels very cliched, and like a lot of stuff we have seen happen in this movie, we've seen happen 10 other times in other superhero movies. There were a lot of predictable aspects in the movie, and although I love Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, I think his portrayal of Black Adam still feels like it's just him in a Black Adam costume. But all those flaws to me can just be overlooked with just how fun and action-packed the movie is. I genuinely was laughing a lot throughout this film. Some for very memeable reasons, like I can finally say it now, when The Rock says Shazam in this movie, and we get to see basically DC do the version of what they did to Chris Evans when he was pre-Super Soldier Serum Steve Rogers, the way The Rock looks pre-Black Adam'd out is pretty hilarious. To me, the funniest part about it is like they don't even change the head size of Dwayne Johnson. Like the head is still supposed to be that of a huge bodybuilder like The Rock, but they put it on a scrawny man. And I was just giggling. And so many other moments like that throughout the movie, like the constant slow motion scenes where he's just clapping like he's She-Hulk, or when he's getting like dragged across the screen on the floor and Dwayne Johnson's just staring into the audience like, there's some funny shit, ain't it? Or like what everyone's memeing about right now is the scene where Dwayne Johnson just goes head first into the camera and they do this sort of pullback loop stretching out his face. Oh, it was just meme potential, and I can't wait till we get the HD version of those shots. But okay, kind of starting from the beginning of the movie, though, I thought it started off kind of bumpy and slow. For one, the marketing, like, really ruined whatever twist they thought they were setting up here. Like, we knew it was not the kid who was Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. All the trailers show The Rock holding his kid dying. So I thought it was interesting that the movie wanted to play it up like Black Adam was the little kid, and that's what they were setting up there, when all the marketing kind of ruined that. The exposition dump I thought was just a little too heavy. I felt like that scene was maybe supposed to go on for like 20-30 minutes, really flesh out that world, but instead it's just someone narrating you, telling you the story of Black Adam. And that's just some of the messy nature of the DC universe. They just don't know the perfect way to explain the origins of some of these characters. They just want to zoom past that so they can get to the action-packed stuff, and well, they get to that, and I respect it. Because when Black Adam is finally brought to the screen and he is resurrected, and the way he's killing these mercenaries, that was freaking awesome. I say this all the time with scenes like this, but it was like something straight out of Dragon Ball Z, the way he was moving and taking these people down. Like, I was even shocked with the way he electrocuted that guy and we just got to see his skull. For all the memeable things The Rock did, I felt this movie was successful in making Black Adam feel like an actual threat. The boy seems very powerful, and I myself was laughing when the JSA was about to come in, and I'm like, what are y'all gonna do against this guy? The real person he needs to be fighting is Superman, and well, we're gonna get to that. But getting on to the introduction of the JSA members, I thought they did handle it well. I just thought it was interesting how Amanda Waller is like already in contact with this team and is like, look, you're on duty, you got a mission, you have to go handle it. When a lot of people have pointed out just the error of the DC continuity, making it seem like the JSA have always been around, when it's like, Amanda Waller, didn't you purposely set up a team of supervillains to fight a Superman level threat?
Gentlemen, ladies, what if Superman had decided to fly down, rip off the roof of the White House, grab the president right out of the Oval Office? Who would have stopped him?
But I guess with that backfiring on her in the Suicide Squad James Gunn version, she's like, all right, move to the JSA. Aldis Hodge as Hawkman, I thought was awesome though. I really loved his fight scenes with Black Adam. I think the only annoying part about his character to me is just how much he would constantly say the thing about like, heroes don't kill people. But that was like a small inconvenience thing. I thought in motion, boy looks fantastic. I know there's a couple of sequences in Black Adam where the CGI doesn't look great, but for the most part, I thought it looked amazing. Dr. Fate was someone that a lot of people are loving. Me, myself, I was really digging Dr. Fate in here. Pierce Brosnan gave a great performance. I even thought they found a good balance behind him with and without the mask. What I was afraid of with an actor of the caliber of Pierce Brosnan and the overpoweredness of Dr. Fate himself, that they would really sideline this guy. And although they actually do that, especially in that sequence where like Hawkman and Black Adam are fighting each other and the boy's just sitting in the chair, the movie itself still kind of found a way to make that work, and why Dr. Fate wasn't that engaged in the battle. They gave him the whole I can predict what's coming ability, which as soon as they revealed the boy can predict the future and was seeing the events happening, I'm like, oh no, this guy's dying by the end of this movie. No way the DCU is going to have such an overpowered character like Dr. Fate survive this movie. And well, he did die. But it's because he can see the future that you could argue is why he never really got into the battle as much. He picked and chose where he was supposed to butt in, and then finally became really active towards the end. When he got his fight with Sabak, that was awesome. People have even noticed that he's done a move straight out of Injustice, which that alone made me clap and cheer in my seat because I recognized that immediately. And since we've talked about Dr. Fate and Hawkman, one thing I do want to point out is not only did they make it seem like the JSA have been around for many years, they make it sound like Dr. Fate and Hawkman were one of the original members of the team that were still part of it to this day. In some iterations of the comics, Hawkman is immortal, so he's maybe been around for a long time, and Dr. Fate definitely made it sound like he had been alive long enough where he was happy to finally die. And I feel like that's one spin-off they can do here, a JSA movie set in like the 60s or 50s that I'm kind of hoping is the mystery movie James Gunn is working on for DC, because I feel like that would fit into James Gunn's wheelhouse. Not only is it a group of superheroes, it's also some that are basically obscure to the general audience. People like Wildcat, Jay Garrick, even the original Atom Smasher, they had that little cameo with Henry Winkler as the first, and then he's passed it down to No Centinio's character. I don't know, that's one way for them to spin it off, and I'd love to see that. But then actually getting onto Atom Smasher, I also thought his character was fine. I mentioned because of his costume and the way his mask looks, a lot of people are going to be comparing him to Deadpool, especially because they made him the comedic relief of the movie, but I thought his brand of comedy worked in here. He's the amateur of the group. The way he was messing up or not completely on board, I kind of like that aspect of it. This was his first real big mission, and he was just kind of thrown out into the field. Even the little banter he had with Hawkman where he was telling him, you and me on the ship, I thought that was some of the cheesy stuff that worked. Now Cyclone, I also really liked. I thought they could have actually given her a little bit more to do. She felt like the most side character out of all of them. The only thing I found funny about Cyclone though is everybody on the battlefield is like fighting really fast, moving about, and every time the camera panned to Cyclone, she was like in a hair commercial, just super slow-mo. It kind of sucks that some of these characters had their origin or explanation of who they are just kind of thrown off in one line. That's exactly what happened to Cyclone, where she mentioned that she was experimented on when she was 15th, and that granted her her abilities. She's also someone that has ties to an early JSA member, the Red Tornado. And again, that'd just be a greater tie to this spin-off movie they can end up making. But yeah, the JSA and the interactions they had with Black Adam, I still thought were the best part of the movie. Getting into some of the things that I thought were kind of holding me back on the movie, where I was like, was unfortunately the kid in the movie. And I never like to be too harsh on kids on the film because they only do with what they are given. And while at the beginning and definitely towards the end, I grew to like his character more and be okay with him, I felt like they were trying way too hard to make him the Jack Dylan Grazer character from Shazam, where he's, you know, kind of like the outside bullied kid that loves superheroes and has all the knowledge of every superhero out there. He even had some Cyborg comics, which I thought that was awesome. I thought Cyborg was a forbidden character in Warner Brother movies now, but even the fact that Cyborg got a slight little reference in here, so happy for that. But I did just feel like they were trying just a little too hard with him, pushing him on a little too much, that it came off annoying at times. I also felt like Sabak just really felt like an afterthought. He was only there just so you could have the JSA and Black Adam team up for a little bit. It led to a cool action sequence with Dr. Fate and Black Adam killing him through ripping him apart. That was really awesome, but other than that, it was just kind of a one-note thing. I really would love to be able to get the movie someday and pause it and scroll all around to that one scene where Amanda Waller has like this giant inhuman prison of just so many characters. It's crazy how the continuity and connectivity of the DCU is so sloppy, but little things like that can get you excited. No explanation, no rhyme or reason, and you have this giant prison where we did get the cameo of Amelia Harcourt that we saw in Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad. So at least they're trying to have that connectivity there. But really, it feels like when a new hero pops up, it's just like DC pulling a rabbit out of the hat, and it's it's like, oh, they're here now. But okay, let's finally talk about it here. This post-credit scene that is awesome, but I'm not gonna hold back on nitpicking some things in here. So by the time the credits roll, we get to see that Black Adam has been given his freedom as long as he stays within the confines of Kahndaq. We have a drone with Amanda Waller telling him exactly that, saying this is now your prison, and if you step out of this place, we're gonna send somebody to put you back into your place. And then of course, Henry Cavill steps into frame, and I was oozing with joy. And look, I'm gonna put an emphasis on this because I know some people are gonna get really mad at what I'm about to say. I still really like Zack Snyder's Man of Steel. I think that is my favorite movie in the DCEU that was directed by Zack Snyder. But some of my biggest gripes about the way Zack Snyder filmed Superman was just always in this dull, no color, sucking all the vibrancy and brightness out of Superman. I hated that. So just seeing Superman walk in full of color, curl on his head, feeling like classic Superman, I'm already 110% excited for whatever you're gonna do with this version of Superman, because that right there is the Superman I've been dying to see in the movies. A Superman that is bright, happy, excited, and also full of ego because he knows he's one powerful mofo. He was not at all scared facing Black Adam, knowing exactly I can take you down to the ground, man, so don't even try me. I will agree with some people though who say they maybe went a little too saturated with the yellow part of his chest, but I'd rather them oversaturate the color than take away all that color. But getting out to the actual context of this scene, yo, parts of it don't make any sense, my man. For one, I need the DCU to understand Amanda Waller is not your Nick Fury, okay? You should not be treating her like the person that is rounding up all these superheroes and commanding orders left and right. Let's not forget, she is the person who took prisoners, implanted bomb in their necks, threatened their lives, and made them go do missions that were not sanctioned or approved by any other government. That specific type of person is not somebody Superman, Batman, or really any hero would want to work with. Amanda Waller is just as evil as some of the people she puts in prison. So it really isn't in Superman's character to follow what Amanda Waller says. Maybe he'd do it out of the kindness of his heart and he needs to put his foot down, but having Amanda Waller kind of command in Superman here, I just felt like that didn't make sense. But now if we get to like some theories and speculating to how this showdown could eventually go, because as of right now, Black Adam, he's gone kind of the good guy route. He essentially is a good guy that just happens to kill people. Which, hey, we all kind of have a bad day in the office, right, superhero peeps? We all kill some people. At least that's what the DCU has been so far. I would love to know the reason why Black Adam would step out of his town and city and go head on against Superman. My best guess is there has to be like some sort of Justice League event that involves the main heroes, you know, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash. They're fighting this villain, and then Kahndaq happens to be one of the casualties of that battle. Kind of like Sokovia in Age of Ultron. I could see something like that happening, and Black Adam blames the Justice League, and he's like, you just destroyed my land, my people, everyone I was protecting. Now I'm stepping out because this is personal. But even then, Dwayne Johnson has made it clear that just him fighting against Superman or Justice League members is not the end game goal. They still want to set up a future past that, and I wonder what that could be. We still have to hold our horses here because it was let known that Henry Cavill has not signed on a deal past this cameo. He signed a one-off thing just to show up in the post-credit scene, and I'm guessing that they're going to figure out what to do with Henry Cavill after the box office of Black Adam. Are people actually hyped to see this happen? Do they give him 3 movies? Do they give him 1 more movie? I say give the man his 3 movies, but Warner Brothers wants to be Warner Brothers sometimes. Either way, when it comes down to it, this movie might not have been the thing to like change the DCU or really shift things around, but I do feel it's a step in the right direction, that maybe they have something going on here that I'm curious to see. Give me more JSA stuff, bring out Henry Cavill, let them fight. At this point, I just want to see these characters on screen instead of having them lay dormant for 10 years like they did with Superman. Let me know your guys' thoughts on Black Adam, what you see the future of the character to be, your thoughts and predictions, anything and everything. Be sure and like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.